Good, just mainly trying to keep the car together and make sure the rear doesn't kick out, since it was really greasy and slidey here mainly. The track, it was very difficult trying to learn it so quick, especially since, well, it just started raining in the middle of the day, so yeah. I felt I did pretty good, kind of learned the conditions so quick, and yeah, it was a good race, pulled away.
Difficult conditions and also hard to see through the visor. I mean, getting off the line as good as possible, and I mean, doing as much as you can in the start to try to get past. And, I mean, I think we did a decent job today, trying to get past Adam, but he defended quite well, so you know, I'm happy.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was obviously the first time driving here in the wet. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect the first few laps, but yeah, I got a clean start. And then yeah, it's just behind Kit. He had a bit more pace than me in the beginning. Obviously it was 12 laps, so I was trying to save my tires till the end. But no, good job to Kit. I mean, he did a great job, and yeah, I'm just a bit tired because I woke up at 5 a.m. to fly in today. I was actually at school yesterday, and it's Kiana's birthday as well, so yeah, I wish him a happy birthday.
Yeah, it was such a difficult weather situation as well. So I was not so happy with the beginning of the race because I was driving behind the girls, and then I was like, okay, now I need to push, come on. I want to be the top female and I want to win the award. But yeah, then I overtook them and it was yeah, really nice, and I was making a gap to the group in front of me, and I was driving the same time in the top group.
According to Elton John, Saturday night's all right for fighting. If that's the case, then it's gloves off time. We are ready for the F4 Saudi Arabia Championship 2025 to continue with round 4, race 2. And now we're into the crunch time of the championship. Just 3 races and 75 points to contest. And after qualifying earlier this evening, Lewis Werrell has made it 2 pole positions in a row. Okay, so he can't be the champion, but he can certainly take a race win or 2 off the remaining title contenders. And between Kit Bolowski, Adam Alazari and Scott Lindblom, it's no holds barred, no nonsense to the end of the season. It's going to be a dry race compared to last night, and it's a circuit that everybody's familiar with now. So for the last time this week, it's time for all of our drivers to go hell for leather on Jeddah Corniche's streets. So how did we get to this point from earlier on? The qualifying session definitely gave us a bit of a show as 4 drivers went to battle for pole position once again here under the Jeddah Corniche skyline. Scott Lindblom trying his best to grab a pole position, his first of the season, but the Red Bull youngster from Sweden could only manage 4th position on the grid. He's definitely going to be challenging to get up amongst the podium scorers again. A spin from Esmech Osterman certainly held things up in the closing stages. Adam Alazari unable to improve from a fantastic 3rd position on the grid, fighting to get his championship lead back. Kit Bolowski is the championship leader, and he goes into this race with his championship opponents right behind him. But Lewis Werrell was the man who stormed the Crows and got himself into the pole position for the 2nd race in a row. Not bad considering this is only his 4th race in the F4 Saudi Arabia Championship. So a fantastic start to the line then for the 15-year-old from Lincoln in Great Britain. About 30 degrees Celsius top temperatures. There's a high humidity coming into this one, but it's definitely going to be a bone-dry circuit, that's for sure. All of the competitors know the challenge that awaits them now on this, the fastest of all the Formula One street circuits, the Jeddah Corniche circuit that opened in 2021, 7 months in construction, 6.174 kilometers of great race action, the back straight backing out to the Red Sea. This fabulous city hosting a lot of motorsport over the last 5 years, and the nation of Saudi Arabia has got a lot of motorsport to look forward to. The season finale of the FIA World Rally Championship next week. Next month, the season finale of the F4 Saudi Arabia Championship presented by Aramco, and of course, the Dakar Rally in January. But as you can see, the drivers are getting ready on the starting lineup there in the pit lane. It's round 4, race number 2. And we are excited for the battle that is set to unfold here at Jeddah Corniche. It'll definitely be a tough one for Lewis Werrell to hold on to, but he does have a race win in his pocket already. He won on his first appearance at Jeddah Corniche all the way back on Monday, 6 days ago. Can he make it 2 wins in the season? Or what will his championship opponents be able to serve up to try and take him on? I'm Jake Sanson, your race commentator here from the start-finish line at Jeddah Corniche. There is your pole position sitter, Lewis Werrell for Great Britain. And he is ready for a very exciting challenge from the front of the grid in the number 98 Karagai car. Kit Bolowski, championship leader, goes into this one with an 18-point advantage. He's having a lot of fun today, second on the starting grid for this one. And he's just had a lot of fun climbing into a Maserati MC20. Having had an opportunity to go around the circuit as an invitation from one of our distinguished guests who owns the car. And he's been able to hit a top speed of 300 kilometers an hour down the back straight, certainly faster than any of the other F4 drivers will go around this course. Not that it's an unfair advantage, he didn't exactly do proper qualifying laps, just having a little bit of a play.
And then I have school on Monday.
There is Adam Al-Azhari, the young 16-year-old from Dubai, getting himself ready for another exciting challenge out on the course. He's definitely going to have an exciting mission in front of him from 3rd position on the grid, trying to take back the lead of the championship that he held at one stage in the season. Scott Kien Lindblom is only 2 points behind Adam Al-Azhari in the championship fight. So the Super Swede wants to put himself back into 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship. And who knows, he might even leave here as the championship leader. To do that, he has to win, with neither Al-Azhari or Bolowski scoring points. So, it's a long shot. But the Belgian driver, Thibaut Ramekes, is the only other competitor in the field who has a chance to win the championship other than Kit Bolowski, Adam Al-Azhari and Scott Kien Lindblom. But Thibaut Ramekes needs a win in order to keep his championship hopes alive, and with the other 3 not scoring. So, there is a very good chance that his quest for the title ends tonight. In terms of the ladies' trophy, Chiara Bertig is right in the hunt. Not for the first time this year. She has qualified as the fastest of the female talents, but it's always in the races when the luck seems to desert her. But she's definitely a candidate for star find of the season. Fastest in the first 2 free practice sessions of the season in Bahrain, despite having never raced an F4 car before that. As for the number 56, well, Rachel Robertson is going to go from here on the Jeddah Corniche circuit to another street circuit on the Las Vegas Strip as the competitor for the Tag Heuer entry in the F1 Academy. We wish her all the best next week, but before that, she's going to have one final race under the floodlights on the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Alongside her on the grid is her teammate, Abdullah Carmel, the boy who has all of the hopes of the locals here in Saudi Arabia. He lives just 5 minutes away from the race circuit here in Jeddah. So for the 16-year-old talent, this is his best chance to charge forward and put on a spectacular display. We know he's got podium potential. He's come very close over the season, qualified 3rd in the first race of the week back on Monday, and finished 4th in the first race of the season in Bahrain. So he definitely has a podium in him, but will he be able to unlock it before the end of the season? Behind him on the starting grid, it's the very last race of this campaign for the Dutch Duchess of Speed, Esme Husterman, lining up 9th on the starting grid, having had 4 race victories in a row in the ladies' class. Now she's going for lucky number 5 in what's been a fantastic week of racing for her, having been strong since Bahrain last month. Now she ends her campaign tonight with hopefully a high before she hands the car back to Nina Hardeman. There is Wojciech Woda, the Polish driver who began his car racing campaign on Monday. And the 16-year-old from Krakow only doing these races this week to get himself prepared for his next F4 encounter. We believe this is his last race as well. So we wish him all the very best for tonight. Of course, these are all subject to change because plans do change from week to week. Ava Dobson getting herself ready for a charge from 11th position on the starting grid, the 16-year-old who comes all the way from Milwaukee in Wisconsin, looking for a great chance to move forward. She, of course, has also had a chance in the F1 Academy this season. Lining up alongside her on the starting grid is the hard-charging Megan Bruce, who competed in the F1 Academy race as a wild card at Singapore in the Marina Bay Street Circuit. So this is nothing new for her, racing on the streets under the floodlights. But certainly here at Jeddah Corniche, it's a different challenge to that at Marina Bay. And the 21-year-old from Horsham in West Sussex has definitely been cutting the candle at both ends to make progress. Another Jeddah local, 17-year-old Faris Organji, who comes from the world of rental kart racing prior to jumping into an F4 car. He carries the hopes of the Saudi locals, and he wants to put on a show, having been very strong in Saudi World Series and Dubai Kartdrome Endurance Championship events in the past. And the only competitor on the grid who is not a natural racing driver, the aerospace engineering student from Riyadh, 23 years of age, Farah Al-Yusuf, began her journey in motor racing at the beginning of the year to supplement her studies in aerodynamic research. She's not a natural racing driver on instinct. She's having to learn that as she goes. And her pace is definitely increasing and accelerating, as does her acumen. So under the floodlights here for the last time this week for Jeddah Corniche. This will be the end of the 4th round of the championship. 75 points still to be scored in this year's campaign. Kipolowski comes into tonight with an 18-point advantage over Adam Al-Azari and 20 points over Scott Lindblom. He cannot win the championship tonight, but he can definitely take one big step closer to achieving that on the 5th and 6th of December when we reconvene at Jeddah Corniche for the season finale. But it's been an amazing week. Everyone's been fantastic putting on this incredible show, and we really have had an amazing amount of support from so many people, from Aramco, from Motormania, from Peaks, from Zahid Tractors, from Ace Stop, from Valvoline, from Katagai. Oh, so many fantastic people who have supported the running of the competition here, and all of our distinguished guests who have been amazing at putting on some fantastic events over the course of these weeks. We had the Maserati Owners Club a little while ago out on the circuit, as well as Motormania over the course of this week. They've been fantastic in terms of their support of the amazing events that we've had. It's genuinely been some of the most amazing activities over the course of this week. We also had the Saudi Automobile Club out earlier today. They gave us some really good performances out on the course with their private owners and their fantastic machines. We've had Terios X with their amazing simulators who have been out here all week long, giving the general public the chance to race the virtual version of these F4 cars from Tartus around a virtual version of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. And okay, I haven't beaten any race drivers' lap records, but I'm only 2 seconds off the pace, which is not bad for a nearly 40-year-old commentator. And I'll take that one very much to the bank. Maybe I can beat their time when we return in December. I'll work on it, don't worry. Well, the competitors getting themselves ready. All of the cars run by the same in-house team at Altocalat Motorsport. Not individual teams, although they do have branded teams just for the sake of argument down here on the grid. You can see that the fans and the guests really enjoying being part of this F4 Saudi Arabia Championship. And it really is going to be absolutely sensational for all of the competitors going into this race. We should see an absolutely amazing battle. So the pressure is on the championship leader, as always in motorsport, to make a mistake and get it wrong. He's not made many mistakes over the course of this year, considering this is his first ever car racing campaign. He's been absolutely superb every time he's been out in the car. There is Abdullah Carmel, though, 8th on the grid, and he certainly wants more than P8 at the flag. His best result so far this year is 4th, but a podium would be a bit of a fairy tale for the fans here in Jeddah. His house is just 5 minutes walk away from the circuit, so he definitely knows this area like the back of his hand. He's had many days preparing for this. He was one of the very few drivers who had driven this circuit before, in the past, before he had raced on it. One of the others, of course, is Farah Al-Yusuf, who, of course, competed in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix weekend in the F1 Academy as a wildcard. There she is, getting herself ready. The final hurrah in round 4 for her. All she's trying to do is essentially improve her lap times, and all the data she takes, she then applies to her research that she's been working on in her academic studies. She knows going in that she's got very short chances of going for points and podiums, but that's not what she's here for. She's here to increase her academic learning. Very brave indeed for a driver to do that in amongst all of these normal, everyday racing drivers who have been competing since their tender years in karting. Everybody really enjoying being part of the showcase down here. All of the fans and all of the mechanics and engineers at Al Tawkalat Motorsport, all running the team in-house. Very similar to the French F4 and Indian F4 operations, although in this championship, everybody has the same setup in their cars as well. And the dozen or so Saudi Arabian engineers working in collaboration with all of those who have gathered together from various different motor racing paddocks, up to and including the world of Formula One, have been getting better and better at setting up these cars all the way through. So it will be a fascinating challenge as everybody gets ready for the excitement that will unfold here in the fantastic Jeddah Corniche Street Circuit. So let's see what will happen as the 14 drivers set off into the night one last time this week, with a fantastic 4 races over the course of 6 days for the second time this year, because we did it all previously last month on the Bahrain International Circuit. After tonight, we will have just 2 races left of the championship. That will take place right here, once again on the Jeddah Corniche Circuit on December the 5th and 6th. Great to see all the personnel working hard. On the left of your picture there, that is James Headley, racing driver extraordinaire, who's been competing under his own steam in many fantastic championships over the last few years. Still rather hoping he can get himself a full-time drive again in something nice and beefy that meets his talents, like Indy Lights or Super Formula or something along those lines. But he hasn't given up hope on that. But he's been working here since the start of the F4 Saudi Arabia Championship campaign to help coach the next generation of Formula One superstars, along with many other people who have taken the same task to hand. So now we get ourselves ready. The time ticks down and the grid is being formed. What happens in this championship is they all wait in the dummy grid in the pit lane itself. Then they are green flagged out onto the circuit. They will form up on the grid. That is the completion of the reconnaissance lap. Then we get the green light on the gantry and the green flag on the starting tower. And that is the beginning of the formation lap. And then we will go to race battle. 1 minute board is held at the end of the pit lane. So the area will now be cleared of all non-essential personnel. And for the last time this week, the battle will be raging here at Jeddah Corniche. Saturday night's all right for fighting. And there's definitely going to be a fight right up at the sharp end of the field between the 2 Brits, Lewis Werrell and Kit Polowski. If they distract each other too much, Adam Al-Azhari and Scott Kinlin-Blom are right there for the taking. Thibaut Ravika's P5 wants decent points. Chiara Batigue wants to win the Ladies' Cup for the first time from 6th on the grid, but then so too does the driver right behind her, Rachel Robertson. But of course, the driver who's won that for the last 4 occasions, Esme Hosterman, would love to bow out of this championship on a high note. This is her last race of the season before she is replaced back again in the field once more by Nina Hardeman, who ended up with double podium finishes in the opening round of the championship in Bahrain. Could still be the highest scoring lady of the championship. Off we go then, green flags, as the drivers venture out onto the circuit once again for their reconnaissance lap. They will form up on the starting grid. then wait for the command on the green lights on the starting gantry with the green flag alongside, and then we will go racing once again. So all of the competitors getting themselves back into the flow once again, weaving from side to side to warm up the tyres and brakes. And we are going to have a very interesting challenge now to see who is going to come through and add 25 points to their score. Just 75 available now with 3 races to go. It's the same point scoring system as Formula 1, 25 points for the win and 18 for second and so on. It's an all-British front row again for Lewis Werrell and Kit Bolowski. They line up on the front row of the starting grid together. Third on the grid for Adam Al-Azari from the United Arab Emirates, trying desperately to grab his championship lead back again, alongside Scott Kin Lindblom, his Super Swede for Red Bull. Then fifth on the grid for Timo Ramekes alongside Kiara Batigue. It's exactly the same top 6 as we had yesterday. Then the teammates at 8 stop, Rachel Robertson alongside Abdullah Carmel, flying the flag for Saudi Arabia from P8. Ninth on the grid for Esme Hösterman, alongside the Polish driver, Wojciech Woda. 11th on the grid, it's a very tough challenge from Ava Dobson, alongside the British driver Megan Bruce. And then rounding out the field, we have the 2 young drivers from Saudi Arabia, Faris Organji and Farah Al Yusuf. Everybody warming up the tyres and brakes again, hoping that we're going to get a really strong start. We won't have what we had yesterday, which is damp patches around the circuit and a lot of wheel spin off the line. It was so difficult for the cars to venture off the grid yesterday when the lights went out. There was so much wheel spin. They're not going to get that tonight because it is a bone-dry circuit as normal. And we are going to have a fantastic challenge out on the course. After the qualifying session earlier, some real standout performances. Exactly the same top 6 as yesterday, but in dry conditions, the likes of Kiara Batigue and Rachel Robertson are going to struggle a lot less than they did yesterday in the wet weather conditions, as all of the mechanics and engineers get themselves ready for the 25 minutes or 12 laps, whichever happens first. And in these conditions, it's likely to be 12 laps that happens first. They will figure out what will happen over the course of the procedure. The drivers have in-car radios, as they will, of course, communicate with their designated race engineer. But all 14 of them know exactly what to expect now. They've done this several times over the season. This is the 8th race of the year, round 4, race 2. And under the lights here at Jeddah Corniche, we've got a dry race in prospect, which is unusual to say here in Saudi Arabia, but last night certainly wasn't a dry race, so we do have to establish the difference. So the engine revs are rising as they make their way to the starting grid. They're going to park their cars in their grid positions. Then the green lights will come on the gantry. The green flag will wave from the tower, and they will go on the official formation lap. This is the end of the reconnaissance lap, so we're not going to start the race just yet. But on the left of your picture, that is Lewis Werrell, pole position. On the right of your picture, in the red machine, Kit Bolowski, the championship leader. Lewis Werrell joined the championship in round 3. Sadly, he cannot win the championship, but he can certainly take race wins off the guys out in the championship battle, and that will make things even more complicated for the title contenders. There's the green flag to the right of your picture, the green light on the gantry, and so we go around for the official formation lap. Certainly a tough race in prospect for Kit Bolowski. He knows he's got a lot of pressure on him. Yesterday, he was able to leapfrog ahead of Lewis Werrell quite considerably well off the start line under the wheel spin of the damp conditions. But that doesn't mean we're going to have it as easy tonight for him. That's the big difficulty he's got in front of him. And so now the drivers go around again. Pole position for Lewis Werrell, 15 years of age. Champions of the Future Junior Karting Champion 2023 in the European circuit. Also competed in GB4 and F4 Spain. Second on the grid for Kit Bolowski, the British talent, former British karting champion at cadet level, 3-time winner this year, twice in Bahrain, and once, of course, last night at Jeddah Corniche. Leads the championship by 18 points. Adam Al-Azari, third on the grid, 16 years of age from Dubai. 3 wins in the F4 British Championship. A pole position in F4 Middle East and double winner in Bahrain. Fourth on the grid, Scott Kin Lindblom, the new Red Bull talent from Falun in Sweden. 9 podiums in Ginetta Junior this year. And the big new sensation for Red Bull from Sweden. Fifth on the grid, the new FIA karting world champion, Timo Ramekes, won the European Championship in the the same discipline last year. 6th on the grid, Chiara Batig, Red Bull Junior, first car racing season ever. Fastest of all in round 1 in both practice sessions at Bahrain. Amazing talent under her right foot. Regular top 10 runner in FIA karting, and the last lady to score an overall pole position. Rachel Robertson, 7th on the grid for the top 3 driver in Radical Cup UK this year, will be racing as an F1 Academy driver next week in the Tag Heuer car at Las Vegas. Abdullah Carmel raising the hopes for Saudi Arabia from 8th on the starting grid, the boy from Jeddah. Raced in F4 for XL in the Middle East and for Euro 4's championship title with the AKM team. 9th on the grid for Esme Oosterman, 4 times winner of the ladies class in a row. The 20-year-old from Viking Dørstede has also competed in the F4 British, represented her country in the Academy Trophy of Karting in 2018. That's the same championship that gave us Charles Leclerc. And 10th on the starting grid, the Polish driver Wojciech Woda, Academy Trophy Senior Vice Champion for 2025, Academy Trophy Junior Race winner 2 years prior to that, one of the only drivers in the world to have raced in the top 5 in both junior and senior disciplines of the FIA Karting Academy Trophy. 11th on the grid for Ava Dobson, podium for Arden in GB4 earlier this year, raced under the J. Howard Developments banner in the United States for 2 years prior to that. 12th on the grid for the hard-charging Megan Bruce, F1 Academy wildcard at Singapore, has raced in GB4 for the last 2 seasons. Marisol Ganji, 3rd on the grid, the 17-year-old from Jeddah, Dubai Kartdrome Endurance Championship and Saudi World Series star in the rental karting paddock. And finally on the grid, Farah Al Yusuf, 23 years of age for Riyadh, drove for Evans GP in the F4 Middle East at the beginning of the year, was a wild card in the high-tech TGR car in the F1 Academy here on the streets of Jeddah. And she's not a natural racing driver, she's an aerodynamics engineering student. What an amazing feat for her to be here competing within 3 to 4 seconds a lap of professional racing drivers. Quite an amazing story. So the competitors line up on the starting grid. The last race of the week and the anti-penultimate race of the season. There'll be 2 races to go after this one in December on the 5th and 6th. Whoever wins this one takes the psychological upper hand going into the December races. The green flag flies to the back of the grid. Werrell on the left, Belovski on the right. Al-Azhari and Scott Kinlindblom giving chase along with Ramakas and Batig. Who's going to win the Saturday night battle? Let's race again at Jeddah Corniche. It's not a bad start for Adam Al-Azhari. I think he's going to leapfrog past Belovski. A little bit of wheel spin for the Brit. And Al-Azhari moves into 2nd place. That's the perfect start for the boy from Dubai as the field works its way through the chicane. Is everybody going to get through? Chiara Batig's had a difficult start. She's lost ground there to Woda, who has started beautifully, and Esme Oosterman, who's worked her way forward as well. But a fantastic start, and Belovski's running wide. Scott Kinlindblom has got a chance to come through into 3rd place. He's going to come right down the outside. They're both committed, and Lindblom is through. Scott Kinlindblom on the first lap opens the cork of the battle and charges through in a 3rd position. Let's look at the start again, and we can see just how tricky it was off the line for Belovski. A lot of wheel spin, and that's what put Adam Al-Azhari into 2nd place. Terrific launch forward. And so Adam Al-Azhari moves into 2nd position. Scott Kinlindblom attacking Kit Belovski right from the start. Fantastic scenes here at Jeddah Corniche. We've got a real race on our hands now as Adam Al-Azhari will be unleashed to go after Lewis Werrell, and he will be absolutely adamant to go for the victory. There is Scott Kinlindblom in 3rd, Belovski in 4th. This is a headache. He's going to lose at least, I think he's going to lose at least 6 points to Adam Al-Azhari if it stays like this. So that's going to put Adam Al-Azhari that little bit closer in the championship fight. The battle will go down from 18 points to 12 points with 2 races to go. It's not panic stations, but it's certainly not the way Kit Belovski wanted tonight to go. We head down to the braking zone for the hairpin. Wait for Lewis Werrell to come into shot. There he is, with Adam Al-Azhari close to him. If he gets a good run off the turn, he can use the slipstream to go after Lewis Werrell. Now we've got a fight on our hands for the victory. A great battle, as Robertson and Carmel still having a great duel as well down the straight. We go through together. 5th place for Ramekers, 6th place is Abdullah Carmel. He's made a fantastic start. And the Jeddah star is up at a P6. Al-Azhari swarming around behind Lewis Werrell. He almost draws level with him in the braking zone for turn 1. And Werrell trips over the curbs. This could be a chance for Al-Azhari. He opens up the taps on the throttle. If he goes right round the outside, Al-Azhari could snatch the lead here. What an opportunity. But he has to bail out of it. A great start to this race from Adam Al-Azhari. He's really pushing it. Lewis Werrell trying desperately to defend and cover his position. But it really is a tough race now as Adam Al-Azhari is pushing. He wants the win. Everybody enjoying things down in pit lane. The British flags are flying for the heroes down there in pit lane. But Lewis Werrell is the leader for Great Britain. Adam Al-Azhari second for the United Arab Emirates, and third for Scott-Kin Lindblom of Sweden. We are so not done. This is literally just getting started here. Fantastic challenge for all of the competitors. This is getting really spicy already. And there's problems for Kiana Batig. She was 6th on the grid and she's had all sorts of difficulties, dropping all the way to 13th place, I'm afraid to say. Not a good night for her at all. This is what I'm talking about. Her 1-lap pace cannot be denied. Her luck in races is just non-existent. So Werrell leads the way. That looks like Voda is down at the back of the grid as well. So too Megan Bruce. So I wonder if Bruce, Batig and Voda had a bit of a tangle somewhere around the course, because they've lost 15 seconds to the rest of the field. Voda's lost even more than that, half a minute. So definitely 3 drivers in dire straits. And that's difficulties for all 3. Megan Bruce, Kiana Batig and Wojciech Voda. So they've dropped all the way down the order. Back onto the home straight. I'm looking out the window to see where Al-Azhari is in relation to Werrell. Lindblom's actually closing in on Adam Al-Azhari a little bit here. He's about to set the fastest lap of the race as they come through. He does indeed. A 2:08.0, a second faster than Adam Al-Azhari. He's not going to have the problem of having low grip to try and get ahead of Adam Al-Azhari tonight. Yesterday he couldn't get ahead no matter how hard he tried. Now he's got the confidence of a circuit he knows in the dry. He can go after Adam Al-Azhari here. Bolowski's still staying with it in 4th place. This is not a panic for Kip Bolowski. If he's careful over the next 6 laps or so and looks after his tyres better than the 3 guys in front, he can get back into this race. As I keep saying to people, this is not about what you do when you win. It's about what you do when you don't. So Lewis Werrell is your race leader. This is the battle further back. Kiana Batig battling away with Megan Bruce. So these are the 2 cars recovering after what looks like an earlier incident. So Batig has got into 12th position then to move ahead of the British driver Megan Bruce. It's starting to settle, but look at Lindblom. He really is attacking Adam Al-Azhari. Fancies his chances here, as Rachel Robertson is doing a great job. She's hanging in there with Abdullah Carmel and looking good for the ladies' victory for the first time in her season. Scott-Kin Lindblom trying to get close to Adam Al-Azhari. Stay hungry, Kit. You may get another chance. Stay dominant, Lewis. You may get another victory out in front on lap number 3. He's just enjoying life in the lead of the race. Tibor Ramekers, P5, Carmel, P6, and in 7th place, Rachel Robertson, full of confidence and looking likely to take her first ladies' victory. So down the back straight, the drivers will go. Look at the fans down in pit lane, wishing and hoping that it's their driver who crosses the line at the sharp end. Abdullah Carmel making fantastic progress, and all of the Jeddah locals here. Lindblom down the inside of the hairpin. He's got Adam Al-Azhari after a terrific run down the back straight, and he's trying desperately to keep Adam Al-Azhari off his tail. Al-Azhari's almost off the road, trying to get back into it. Side by side over the line. And Al-Azhari and Lindblom almost locking wheels. Careful, boys. Lindblom will go later on the brakes, but he's got to try and drive right around the outside. Al-Azhari hangs on. And now Bolowski, oh, a little bit of a nudge. Bolowski makes contact with Lindblom, and Lindblom's got a puncture. Lindblom, I think, has got a puncture. Well, big problems then for Scott-Kin Lindblom. He tried his best to go for it, and he has got damage. Scott-Kin Lindblom is limping. Oh, this is a disaster for the Swede. And all chances of going for the championship seem to have ebbed away for the Swede. He can't even keep the car in a straight line through the S's. Well, this is going to be the race of attrition. We realised it had been fairly tame all season long, and I'm afraid Scott Lindblom, his aggressive style this time comes back to bite him, but it wasn't him that made the mistake. A little bit of an opportunity there for Kit Bolowski. He thought he saw a gap on the inside line, and there was the slightest bit of contact. But I'm afraid Scott Lindblom is out of the fight for victory. He can limp back to the pits, he can get a new tyre and rejoin a dead last, but it's not going to be a single point on offer for Scott Lindblom unless we get a safety car, and then the whole field can bunch up. Ava Dobson trying to close in on Esme Husterman, who is now really going after Abdullah Carmel and Rachel Robertson, but Robertson's got ahead of Carmel. So Rachel Robertson has found the overtaking move here on Abdullah Carmel. So she's up into 6th position. Great stuff. She certainly was at the line. I'm trying to double check and make sure whether it's Carmel or Robertson who's across the line, who's in the position at the moment. Well, very interesting to see how it goes, as now Kit Bolowski is closing up on Adam Al-Azhari. Well, this is going to be fascinating. How is it going to look in the closing stages? That's going to be the key factor now, as everybody knows how tricky it's going to get from here. So, interestingly, there is already a couple of communications on the starting gantry. Oh, Carmel is ahead of Rachel Robertson. He managed to get back in front, so Robertson is now vulnerable to attack from Esme Husterman. Husterman is trying her best to close up here on Rachel Robertson. But Robertson could really do with getting back in front of Abdullah Carmel to alleviate the damage. So, only a couple of messages from race control. 2 track limits violations so far from the number 5. That is, of course, the car belonging to Scott Lindblom, although there he is limping back to the pits with a puncture. You're not going to see any more from him up at the sharp end of the field. Let's have a look and see what happened again. Here's the replay. Al-Azhari and Lindblom, look, they're almost banging wheels there. Lindblom decides to try and outbrake Al-Azhari. Then at the last minute, he changes his mind, backs down, rolls off. Bolowski fancies a chance because Lindblom suddenly gets on the brakes. Now, I don't think that's deliberate from Bolowski at all. I think Lindblom was backing out of the power because he was on the verge of connecting with Adam Al-Azhari. And then all of a sudden, Bolowski had nowhere to go. That was certainly not dirty tactics from Kit Bolowski. But it was unfortunate that there was the slightest bit of a love tap there, as into the pits comes Scott Lindblom. They're trying to put a tyre back on the car and send him back out again. Or are they going to park the car? I'm not entirely sure here. Meanwhile, juicy battle going on course, because that's Chiara Batig getting herself back into the contest ahead of Farah Al-Yusuf. Nice move from Chiara Batig. That's one of her best overtakes of the season, to be fair, on one of the toughest parts of the course to overtake. So she makes a good move there, and that puts her back into the championship points. So with Scott Lindblom down to dead last, that's one big player that's not going to be scoring points in this race. In fact, he's still in pit lane, so he hasn't left the pits yet. So out onto the circuit he will go. Lewis Werrell ahead of Al-Azhari and Bolowski. Bolowski is reining Al-Azhari back in here. And if I'm Kit Bolowski, you know what? I'm sticking to Adam Al-Azhari's rear wing like glue here. I'm not actually making an overtaking move. I'm going to leave back on the throttle for a while, look after the engine, look after the tyres, look after the brakes a bit, and then in the last 2 laps, then I'll go for it, because it doesn't matter that much that Lewis Werrell is out in front. He can't win the championship, and he's actually taking points away from Adam Al-Azhari by winning out front, because there's a 7-point difference between a win and second. There's only a 3-point difference between second and third. Megan Bruce closing up on Farah Al-Yusuf. Unfamiliar territory for the young lady from Saudi Arabia, because wheel-to-wheel stuff has not really been part of her arsenal so far. With a hairpin for Adam Al-Azhari, desperately trying to stay close to Lewis Werrell, but Werrell's gone. 1.9 seconds up the road. Oh, turning up to the inside line as Farah Al-Yusuf shuts the door on Megan Bruce. Totally entitled to do that, of course. They are racing each other. So Megan Bruce lucky to get away with that one. She's going to have to try and get past Farah Al-Yusuf again, but she's not a back marker. They are racing each other. So Megan Bruce has got to come up with the goods another time here. Meanwhile, that's Abdullah Carmel back in front of Rachel Robertson, and Robertson's got pressure from both Österman and Ava Dobson. Farisol Ganji now in 9th place, looking good for his best result of the season, and 2 championship points for the boy from Jeddah. Meanwhile, all of that humding has put Abdullah Carmel into 5th position. That's his 2nd best result of the season. Incident involving Lindblom and Bolowski at turn 1 is noted. So whether that's going to turn into an investigation, whether that's going to turn into a penalty or not, we do not know. So really exciting battle that has finally bubbled over. And with Skotkin Lindblom picking up a puncture, goodness me, things are going to be fantastic when this is all settled, whether it's a penalty or not. But for Skotkin Lindblom, it is agony. No points for the Swede. Now here's the battle for the ladies' race victory. Esme Österman trying to make the bid on Rachel Robertson, has to roll off the power there, get back a dab on the brakes to avoid contact with the rear wing of Rachel Robertson's car. She's defending very well, to be fair, to hold on to her position, right in there behind Abdullah Carmel. So Robertson versus Österman, this is for the ladies' trophy. Österman has managed to take that victory in the last 4 consecutive races. So let's see if there's going to be a change between those two. There's Chiara Batig, who's had absolutely 0 fortunes in this 2025 campaign. Bolowski putting pressure on Adam Alazari up front. Ramakas in P4. Then we've got the 2 A-stop cars of Abdullah Carmel P5. That will keep the Jeddah Corniche fans happy. 6th for Robertson and 7th place for Österman. But who is going to get the ladies' victory? So let's see how things are going to progress, because Esme Österman definitely has the confidence bar raised sky high, and she would love to bow out of this championship as the ladies' winner again. And of course, if she wins tonight, then she will be the most victorious driver in the Ladies' Cup. So number 98, they were noting a false start for Lewis Werrell, but no investigation is necessary apparently. So that's what's come up on my race control notes. Track limit for car number 12, that's Adam Alazari at turn 22 on lap 5, so that's his first warning. He's got to be careful. But what an exciting battle this is for 2nd place now, as Bolowski rains down on the parade of Adam Alazari. Quicker in sector 1, quicker in sector 2. I think he's going to be quicker in sector 3 as well, because he's in the toe of the draft. He is. So Bolowski is closing back in to Adam Alazari, and he's got 5 laps to try and make this move on the man in 2nd place. So as they work their way through the first chicane, no major concerns at the moment. So still they battle on. No investigation necessary for Lewis Werrell's false start that was being looked into. They've clearly decided it was borderline. And maybe he moved just as the light went out. Yellow flags in turn 1 briefly, then becomes green flag in turn 1. So someone has had an incident in the first corner. I'm not entirely sure who it is, but we'll try and figure it out. Well, Rachel Robertson is now down with Farisol Ganji. So I wonder if Robertson has had a spin at the first chicane. We're waiting for the drivers to come through at the end of the first sector. Ramakas is through in 4th. Abdullah Carmel is through in 5th place. And it's Kosterman who's in 6th now. So Kosterman is 6th. Dobson is in 7th place. Farisol Ganji is in 9th position, I do believe. But Rachel Robertson has had a spin at the first sector, and that's dropped her back into 8th place. What a shame for the Scot, because that was a great chance for Rachel Robertson to grab the Ladies' Cup victory, and it looks as though there's been an incident. Now, at this moment in time, I don't know whether there was an incident between the 2 cars of Kosterman and Robertson, although Kosterman was 0.3 of a second back on Robertson at the finish line, so I can only assume that there wasn't contact, but that there was a spin from Rachel Robertson. Maybe we can go back and look at it later, depending on where the first corner camera was trained. But what a shame for Rachel Robertson. That was a very good chance of a victory there that's sadly evaporated here at Saudi Arabia. And it looks to me then as though Esme Österman is going to win 5 ladies' trophies in a row and that means that nobody will beat that tally, as Nina Hardeman could equal her with 2 podiums in December. But if Osterman takes the win, then that will pretty much guarantee that she is going to have more victories than anybody else. If you've just joined us, we've got 4 laps to go. Lewis Werrell leading the way here from the 2 championship contenders, Adam Alazari and Kit Bolowski. Sadly, Scott Kidd-Lindblom was part of that. While challenging Alazari for 2nd place, he ended up rolling off the power in turn 2. There was the slightest love tap from Kit Bolowski on his right rear, and it caused a puncture for the Swede. Now, Scott Kidd-Lindblom has gone back out on the circuit and rejoined in 14th place, about half a minute back from Wojciech Woda, who had his own incident on the first lap with Chiara Batigue and Megan Bruce. They are now playing recovery, but a very tricky race battle nonetheless now for the contenders up front, because Werrell is 3 seconds clear of Adam Alazari, who is now battling with his main championship opposition. Kit Bolowski is 3rd, Ramicus is 4th. The incident between Bolowski and Lindblom is noted, but there's no investigation at the moment. So, oh, and into the pits comes Megan Bruce. So she's got damage to the front nose cone. So that is being replaced there. I wonder if that was in the battle with Farah Al-Yusuf, because they got very close together. So Megan Bruce has damage and now moves forward. Well, get this for a scenario, because Megan Bruce coming into the pits for a front nose cone promotes Farah Al-Yusuf up into 11th position. That is her equal best performance of the season. And if one more car in front of her falls off the road, she will score a championship point for the first time. Lewis Werrell into the hairpin. Still pushing hard out in the lead. Here come Adam Alazari and Kit Bolowski, still dueling over 2nd place, half a second between them, as Alazari is trying desperately to pick up the pace and get away from Kit Bolowski. Slower in Sector 1 and Sector 2. Here they come down the straight, and Bolowski gets the pit wall, going for the move into 2nd place on Adam Alazari. He hasn't been able to hold him back enough, and through goes Bolowski. He takes 2nd from Adam Alazari. Kit Bolowski into P2 with a killer move down the back straight. Fantastic work up against the pit wall as Bolowski gets ahead of Adam Alazari. Wow! What a beautiful move there from the Brit. But Adam Alazari's not done yet. He's going to charge his way back to try and get on terms with the British Championship leader as well. But what an overtake down the pit straight for Kit Bolowski. So now they've got to try and close up on Lewis Werrell with 3 laps to go. I don't see that happening, as there is Rachel Robertson now in 8th position ahead of Faris Organji. And the last point is likely to be scored here by Chiara Batigue in the Red Bull car. That really hampers Team Red Bull in the team standings as well. Although, of course, in reality, all of the cars are being run by Al Tawkalat Motorsport here in Saudi Arabia. Lewis Werrell leads the way. Adam Alazari no longer 2nd. Kit Bolowski's now got in front. And a warning flag to car number 5 for disrespecting track limits. That's a warning for Scott Kidd-Lindblom, because he now has 4 track limits in his catalogue at the moment. He had a track limits infringement on lap 5 and lap 6 to add to the 2 from lap 4 and lap 5 earlier on. So very unfortunate for the Swede. It's going from bad to worse. But Lewis Werrell is the man in front. There is Farah Al-Yusuf, 1 place away from her first championship point. If anything happens to the top 10, it's going to happen for her. But Kit Bolowski still battling away for 2nd position ahead of Adam Alazari. 6 seconds back is Thibaut Ramicus, with Abdullah Carmel looking good for a top 5 finish here in Jeddah. And that will do very nicely indeed. Lewis Werrell crosses the line to complete lap 10. 2 laps to go here in Jeddah. And he's looking to end his week the way he started it. We've had 3 different race winners over the course of this week. We started with Lewis Werrell. We continued with Scott Kidd-Lindblom. We improved with a 3rd different race winner last night in Kit Bolowski, as we watch Abdullah Carmel now under pressure from Esme Osterman. It's not enough to be the leading lady. She wants to finish in the top 5. That would be her best result of the season if she can do it. And the 16-year-old is under massive pressure here. The boy from Jeddah wants to be in the top 5, but Esme Husterman wants to bow out of the championship by finishing in the top 5. Nobody's leaving anything to chance here. So still they quest for those final points as Bilovsky runs in second position. Third place to Adam Al-Azhari, and he's dropping back. I wonder if the tyres have just slipped away now, as Lewis Werrell is now 5.5 seconds clear. As far as the championship is concerned, this is excellent news for Kit Bilovsky, because the lead is going to increase now from 18 points to 21 points, with only 50 available next time out. And of course, with Scott Lindblom not scoring, they're going to pull well clear of the Swede in the championship fight. As meanwhile, Timo Ramakers, despite finishing P4, is going to be eliminated from the title fight here. And so, if it finishes like this, Lewis Werrell is about to go into the final lap. That's Megan Bruce going into the penultimate lap, 20 seconds ahead of Scott Lindblom. But if the race finishes like this, with this man, Lewis Werrell, in the lead, Kit Bilovsky would need to finish 1 place ahead of Adam Al-Azhari to pretty much guarantee the championship victory on the Friday of round 5 of the championship in Jeddah. So into the last lap then goes Lewis Werrell. Not a bad way for his week to end, having arrived on Sunday night and going straight into free practice, which he was quickest in on Monday. Second on the grid, converted it into a victory. Then third, although second on the road on Tuesday night. Still these two battle as Abdullah Carmel shuts the door on Esme Husterman. Husterman's going to try and drive right around the outside of Abdullah Carmel. These two are going to scrap all the way to the finish line here. Husterman really wants to be top 5, but so does Abdullah Carmel. He's got a lot of home fans here at Jeddah. They would love a top 5 finish, but then so too would Esme Husterman. There's still battles to unravel here, and these two are still absolutely at it. Werrell is in front, Bilovsky in second, Al-Azhari in third, and fourth place Timo Ramakers. There he is in the number 1 Zahid car. Look back, and there's the battle for P5 between Carmel and Husterman. So still they run together. Here's the Dutch racer, Esme Husterman, going to get her move on Abdullah Carmel before the flag. Werrell passes our position on the back stretch. Still, Husterman charges after Abdullah Carmel. Top 5 is what they both want. Only one of them is going to get there. But Lewis Werrell, who started his week as the newest winner in the championship, now is going to make it a double in Jeddah Corniche and put right the wrongs of Tuesday and the frustrations of last night from pole position. He will go from pole to the victory as we wait for the 15-year-old to come into view. Here he is. What a drive it's been for Lewis Werrell. Into the hairpin for the last time and powering down the straight one more time. It'll be lovely for him to end his week with a smile on his face. The 15-year-old from Lincoln will make his dream reality, and Lewis Werrell will take the victory here in Saudi Arabia for the second time in 6 days. Brilliant run from Lewis Werrell. Domination. Thy name is Werrell. Second for Bilovsky. Third for Adam Al-Azhari. And that gives Bilovsky 3 more points than his main championship opponent heading to the finale in December. Ramakers first, across the line. It's going to be a drag race. Across the line, who got there first? It's Carmel. Carmel by 65 thousandths of a second. Just hangs on in front of Esme Husterman. Oh my goodness, what a finish. Ava Dobson is 7th. Rachel Robertson will be frustrated in 8th place. Farisal Ganji gets his best result of the season in 9th. And Kiara Batig will be fuming, but still takes the final championship point in P10. A good drive to try and catch up to the rest of the field there from Kiara Batig. Farah Al-Yusuf will score her best ever result in the championship in 11th position on merit, staying out of trouble. 12th place for Wojciech Woda, 13th for Megan Bruce, and 14th for a very unhappy Scott Lindblom. But what an amazing run from Lewis Werrell, 6.5 seconds clear of Kit Bolowski, who increases his lead in the championship after tonight. And the leading lady for the 5th race in a row is the Dutch Duchess of Speed. The Duchess of Derstede, Esme Oosterman, 6th in the race and the 5th ladies win in a row. Across the line will come Skotkin Lindblom, about a dozen seconds after everybody else has come through. He'll be miserable and he will be completely inconsolable tonight. But he's got 3 weeks to forget about it, move on and bounce back in December. There he is. What a shame for Skotkin Lindblom. Pretty much now, his last embers of the championship attack have just gone out. So, the provisional results then, it is Lewis Werrell who takes the victory here at Jeddah Corniche in the anti-penultimate race of the season. From Kit Bolowski and Adam Al-Azari, Timur Ramakas and Abdullah Carmel, top 5 by just 65 thousandths of a second, ahead of the leading lady, Esme Oosterman. Then it's Ava Dobson in front of a very unhappy Rachel Robertson, I'm sure. Marisol Ganji, best ever result for the 17-year-old from Jeddah in 9th. And Chiara Matigue, 10th position to round out the point scorers. 11th place, and very frustrated, I'm sure, to come so close to a points finish without actually getting one. Farah Al-Yusuf, 11th place in this one, ahead of Wojciech Borna, Megan Bruce, and a very unhappy Skotkin Lindblom. Those are your provisional results. I'll head down for the podium presentation and driver interviews. So let's welcome our award winners to the podium. Our leading lady, first of all, in Team My Car from the Netherlands, Esme Hosteman. For the 5th race in a row, it's the Dutch Duchess, the leading lady across the line. Let's welcome the 3 drivers to the podium in the top 3 positions. In 3rd position, representing Team Valvoline for the United Arab Emirates, Adam Al-Azhari. And in 2nd position for Team Peaks for the United Kingdom, Kit Bielowski. But your race winner for the 2nd time this week here at Jeddah Corniche, representing Team Karagi for the United Kingdom, Lewis Worrell. A fabulous run for Lewis Worrell, his 2nd win of the week, and in deference to our driver on the top step of the podium, the national anthem for the United Kingdom. Huge congratulations then to our competitors as we now ask our dignitaries to come forward to present the trophies. First of all, for the winning rookie driver, please welcome the head of events and motorsport at Al Tawkalat Motorsport, Mr. Walid Gota. He will hand the winning trophy to our man in 2nd position on the rostrum, the winning rookie driver, Kit Bielowski. And now to present the trophy for the winning female driver, please welcome the motorsport manager of the MEA region for Pirelli, Jonathan Wells. And for the 5th time in a row, it's the Dutch Duchess from Der Stede, Esme Hosteman. So to present the trophy for 3rd position, please welcome the managing director of ASB Racing, Mr. Abdulaziz Bakashwine. And to present the trophy to our driver in 3rd position for the United Arab Emirates, Adam Al-Azhari. And now to present the trophy for 2nd position, please welcome the COO of Telios X, Mr. George Masharais. Handing the trophy to our man in 2nd position for the United Kingdom, Kit Bielowski. And finally, to present the winner of today's race with their trophy, the acting CEO of the Saudi Automobile and Motorcycle Federation and CEO of Saudi Motorsport Company, engineer Mansour Al-Mukbel. And to present the trophy for the 2nd time this week, it's our winner for the United Kingdom, Lewis Worrell. We'll have our podium competitors taking the pictures on the rostrum, and now we will ask our dignitaries to return to the podium once again for a group picture with all 4 of our race winners over the course of round 4, race number 2. We've now got a 3-week break, folks, as we will return to the Jeddah Corniche circuit on December the 5th and 6th for the season finale, where our champion will be crowned here under the floodlights of Jeddah Corniche. But ladies and gentlemen, your award winners in round 4, race 2, 2025. Congratulations to all our award winners. We're now going to grab a quick word with each of our 4 drivers after a fantastic race battle. There will be a group picture for the podium contenders with trophies aloft. Ladies and gentlemen, Esme Hosteman, Adam Al-Azhari, Kit Bielowski, and your race winner, Lewis Worrell. Second in the championship fight heading to the season finale. Adam, a tough race out there, 3rd position after a very intense battle right from the start, but the championship's still alive and kicking for you with 2 races to go. How are you feeling after that one?
Overall feeling very positive. I think I did my part, I got a good start, and after that I got a bit close with Lewis, almost got past him, and then tires went off a bit towards the end, and Kit got past me, but I'm pretty sure he's on track limits. But anyway, yeah, really looking forward to hopefully coming to the last round, and yeah, it was a fun race.
You had a really great battle in the opening stages as well with Scott, so you were definitely up for a scrap tonight.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, it was really fun.
Great job, Adam, well done.
Thank you.
Let's have a word with our man in second position, who was also the leading rookie and extends the lead in the championship by 3 points. Kit, tough race out there, but after the difficulties at the start, you certainly made up for it with some killer moves out there. What was it like from your side?
I was just trying to keep the pace as best I can. Had a bit of dirty air for a while when I was behind Adam, so it made it difficult trying to catch up. But I did get the move in the end with Dummy. I did. Well, it was pretty good, I thought. But yeah, just kind of went for it the best I could, and yeah, made up for it from the start.
The contact between you and Scott, it just looked like you were in a very difficult position where you didn't really have anywhere to go.
Yeah, I was just stuck in the middle of, and I couldn't go anywhere really. So I'm not 100% sure, but I think I was maybe braked or something. I'm not 100% sure though.
Well, you still lead the championship, and with 2 races to go, you're looking strong. Well done, Kit.
Thank you.
Let's grab a word with our race winner for the second time this week. He started the week with a victory. Oh, well, he's already currently being interviewed. So let's grab a word with our leading lady for the 5th race in a row, the Duchess of Dushnede, Esme Hosterman. Great to see you again in winning position. Fantastic scrap between you and Abdullah Carmel all the way through, and you put a lot of pressure on Rachel Robertson to make the move stick. So what was that like from your side? A very fun race, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was from my side a funny race to race. As well, the last couple of laps as well with the battle. We almost went on the finish line together, but yeah. It was, from my perspective, I had a lot of fun and I learned so much as well in this race.
And the original plan was for this one to be your last race, but I hear tell that you're going to be back for the December finale after all.
Yeah, surprise. Maybe we can make 6 or 7, but no, I'm kidding. But yeah, I'm going to be in December back here in Jeddah. I'm very excited to come back.
And so are all of your fans now as well. Good luck for it.
Thank you.
Great to hear from Esme Hosterman. Let's hear from our overall race winner for the 2nd time this week and the 2nd time in 6 days. Lewis, that's a bit more like it. You came here to Saudi Arabia to win some races and, well, there was no doubt you were going to win that one once the first lap was over. What was it like behind the wheel?
Very difficult. Start was so-so. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't too bad. And then Adam was right behind me, and we battled for a couple laps with a good fight between me and him. And then they battled behind me, and when I saw I had a gap, I just used my pace that I know I had in qualifyings, and yeah, ended up winning by 6.6 seconds, so happy.
You've got a chance to wrap up 40% of the race victories at the finale in December, so what's going through your mind heading there? A bit more confident, a bit more opportunity to get the job done?
Well, I know I've got the pace at this circuit with 2 poles yesterday and today, but I mean, I'll just go there how I went this weekend, but thank you to everyone at Saudi F4 for the opportunity this week. And yeah, can't wait to see if we can come back and get some more wins.
We can't wait to see it either. Well done, Lewis.
Thank you.
So a fantastic end to a truly fantastic week here on the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Ever since Monday, we've been at it like a packs of dogs all over the circuit, and we've had some amazing race victories, 3 different winners over the week, and we're not done yet. We still have a championship finale on December the 5th and 6th in 3 weeks' time, so do join us for that when the championship fight will go down to the wire between Kit Bolowski and Adam Al-Azhari. We can't wait for that. From me, Jake Sanson, and everybody here from Al Tawkalat Motorsport and the Jeddah Corniche circuit, thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in December to get this show completed. See you then.